Hey, what is going on, guys? Thanks for coming back to the channel. Wanted to do a little follow-up for you for those of you who've been asking about a full review or a follow-up review on the ZBROZ Racing spring kit that I installed. If you guys didn't catch the last video, check it out. I did a full install video on the spring kit on this. This is a 2021 Polaris RZR Pro XP4. So I know a lot of guys go with other companies like Shock Therapy and stuff like that, and they're great. I got a little bit of a better deal on the ZBROZ Racing kit, and I'm the type of person that wants to do a little something different than everybody else is doing. So I said I'm going to give them a shot, and we'll see what happens. And so far, I got to tell you, I put them on when the machine only had 50 miles on it, approximately. I got just under 500 miles now, so it's about 450 miles, 440 miles, give or take a few. And they have been great. I did make some adjustments from the install video, which I'll go over here with you in a minute. But basically, I set the ride height on it. I have not had to touch it. I think it settled maybe 1/8 of an inch, which I'm not gonna, fool around with it at that point. So I'm at about 14.5 to 14.25 inches up front ground clearance, and about same in the back, about 14.25 in the back. So it's been great. Rides night and day different, night and day better, I'll say, than the factory springs. Unfortunately, the factory springs aren't any better than the Polaris RZRs of years past, and mine supposedly had the upgraded springs from Polaris, the upgraded tender springs, I should say, that addressed the sagging spring issues, and it still rode like garbage. The problem I had, which many of you probably have the same issue if you're watching this video, the stock springs bottom out really easy. So I would, for example, in the dunes going over whoops, even out on the trails with 4 people in the car, the thing would bottom out in the back really easily. I read an article in one of the UTV magazines, and they were saying how they put 32s on it and it didn't bottom out anymore. Well, the suspension is still bottoming out. Maybe the belly pan is no longer hitting the ground, but the shocks will still be bottoming out, because putting bigger tires is not going to alleviate the soft suspension issue. I used to have to dial up the clickers on the shocks almost max with 4 people in it to get it to not bottom out. And at this point, I'm at 6 clicks in the back, and only 9 in the front. I keep it a little firmer in the front just to help with the sway a little bit, which isn't too bad anyway with this kit. But the shocks are valved pretty soft, in my opinion. So with the factory springs, it just bottomed out constantly. I put the spring kit on, drove it for a little bit in multiple conditions. I had like 2 instances where the back was bottoming out a couple times. So I just lowered the crossover rings, which is, what's nice with having a dual rate kit. The crossover rings, initially I had them set to about 4 inches. So they were about up to there. I have them right now at about 1.75 inches, about 1.5 inches, 3/4, from the crossover to the spring divider. So it makes contact, basically before this hits the crossover ring, you're using 2 springs. They compress equally together. When you get to the point in the suspension travel where they've compressed enough where this hits that, then you're only on the bottom spring at that point. So once I turned the crossover rings down to where it is now, I can hammer the whoops at the dunes. I can hammer it through the trails, jump it. I don't ever bottom it out anymore. It's been great. And like I said, I only have the clickers in the back at 6 from full soft. So there's still another, I think it goes up to 18. So it just kind of gives you an idea of how soft I have it set. And with the springs set up the way they are, I mean, it's great. It takes all the little chop all the little stutter bumps, the washboard roads, all night and day smoother than the factory springs. The front, the way they is also a dual rate kit. They just set it up a little different. Basically, the way the spring in the front is, you have the spring divider. There's about, I would say, 3/4 of an inch from the top collar to where this the spring divider is like a cone shape. In a way, it's hard to see here. It's not much light, but maybe I can show you on the other side. But basically what happens is the cone here will make contact with the top collar once the spring's compressed enough, and then you're just on the bottom and the front. So it really takes a lot of the little chop out, and then the front end never bottoms out. The front end was my actually biggest issue with the stock springs. The front end would just bottom out easily, super easy. With almost minimal effort, I can get the front to bottom out with the factory springs, and that really disappointed me. I mean, I spent $32,000 on this machine, and the factory springs were still junk. They did do, a lot better on the rest of the machine. I have no complaints with the rest of the machine, but the springs, I mean, you can't put quality set of springs on a $30,000 machine. That's one gripe I have with Polaris. I know all the manufacturers, the springs aren't that great from the factory, but Polaris springs just seem to be a pile of junk. So I don't know why they can't get that right. It's beyond me. I think it's just the quality of steel they use, and whoever that makes those springs for them, it's just not good quality, steel that they're using. So, but this is great. ZBROZ Racing. I paid $650 from, I don't want to butcher the name of the website, so I'll have to look it up, and then I'll leave a link below in the video description of where I bought them from. But it was like $650 delivered to my door. If you guys watched my install video, you'll see how easy they were to install. You do not need to take the whole shock off and use a spring compressor. It's not needed on this kit. They got it set up perfectly. So if you haven't already, check out the full install video, and you'll see how easy it was to install. If you're thinking about a spring kit at all, and you don't want to go with the other, big companies, there's really only one other big company, let's face it, and that's Shock Therapy. They're the big ones that are out there, the name that everybody throws out there. And they're great quality. I know people that run them. My buddy had them on his RZR. My brother had it on his Honda Talon. And they're great. No knocking them at all. I got these for a little better price, and I wanted to try a different company. And I'll tell you what, hands down, I would definitely buy them again, and I don't hesitate at all to recommend for you guys to get them. Very, very good company, very good quality. Like I said, I've had them on there almost 500 miles now, no sagging at all. I think it settled maybe like 1/8 of an inch in the front, and the rear hasn't budged. So, and I do not drive the car easy when I drive it. As many times I have, multiple passengers in it, myself, my wife, one or both of the kids. I had 4 adults in it a couple months back, and it's been great. Once I made those adjustments to the crossover rings in the back, I haven't bottomed out once. I have the clicker settings on, pretty soft. If I have to, I still got room there where I can dial them up if I need to, if I have a little extra weight in the car and I feel like I need to. But the way I have it set right now, I haven't touched it in a long time. It handles every situation great, slow, high speed. Really, really pleased with it. So appreciate you guys checking out this quick little video here. But I wanted to give you an update on the ZBROZ Racing spring kit. There will be a link in the description below on where I bought them, so you guys can check them out, order them for yourselves. I'm not making any money on it. It's just putting it down there to help you guys out. So like the video, share them. I appreciate you guys checking out. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Most of the viewers from all my videos, I've noticed, are not subscribers. So if you guys are enjoying the videos, it's free to subscribe. So hit the subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you'll see when the future videos are posted. And thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. I really, really appreciate it. The channel's grown quite a bit, so we're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Let's if you can help me get there, that'd be awesome. I greatly appreciate everybody who stuck around for this long as well. So we'll see you guys on the next one.